Hey there, St. James, and welcome to Together Apart, our attempt to be together from at least 6 feet apart. We've got some exciting news coming up as we're coming out with our new publishing and media schedule for the church. We're going to be going to one mega episode a week of Together Apart. And I'm really excited about it because it's going to allow us to bring much better and quality content. But in doing that, we need your help because we want this to be a place of community. So if you're at home with your family trying out new things, whether it's active things, whether it's baking in the kitchen, whether it's serving your neighbor, whatever it is, we want to see you do it. So take some time next time you do something fun as a family and film yourself doing it and share it with us by dropping it in the link below in the description. We want to see you. We want to showcase our church because we want this to be a place for us to come together. And so help us out by dropping those videos below for us. We love it. We would really appreciate it so that we can share it and that everyone in the church can see what everyone else is doing in this time. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. The first thing we got coming up is a conversation with someone that I love and got the privilege of serving alongside of here at St. James for a year, and also got to go to school with him. It's Jagger Eastman. Many of you will remember him, and he has been processing through coronavirus as a minister in Auburn at Grace United Methodist Church. And so let's just take a look at this conversation that we had earlier today about what it's like to process the disorder that's kind of entered into our lives in this time. So take a look. Hey guys, welcome to our Wednesday episode of Together Apart. I've got my really good friend Jagger Eastman. Most of you guys know him. He served at St. James for a year and now is over at Grace UMC in Auburn. So we're just happy to have him. And Jagger, we're in this series right now where we're exploring what it's like to live life and do ministry in the midst of the coronavirus. So I just want to ask you if you could share some wisdom. So what are some of the emotions that you're processing and that you're feeling right now as a pastor and as a husband and as a father?
Yeah, so I think that really we're all dealing with a lot of emotions in the midst of this season. But for me, probably the biggest emotion that I've had to deal with is just a feeling of discontent and really a level of unsettledness in the middle of this season for sure.
Okay, so yeah, discontent. I think that's a really good word because a lot of us are dealing with that. We feel this generic feeling of discontent. Can you go into a little bit and just dive into what does that look like in your life? How are you seeing that flesh out?
Yes, is it really isn't a product of this season so much as it's a product of not being prepared moving into a season like this. So, not having laid a good foundation to where when this virus hit and we're in the middle of a wilderness time, already having a stable place to move into a time like this. So just I've realized I wasn't taking care of myself as well as I should have, maybe mentally and physically and spiritually. And so I could place the blame on the virus, but really the virus is pointing me back to the places where before this all started, my priorities or values and the way I managed my time was maybe a little out of whack and needed to get things realigned with where God was calling me and what God was calling me to do and who God's calling me to be. So I think that's really where the discontent has come from, is it's allowed those things that maybe weren't cared for the way they should have been to bubble up into a level of discontent and unsettledness when all this hit at one time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think that's put so well. It's revealed so many cracks in the way that we whether we realized it or not, we're living our lives that weren't exactly how they needed to be. So
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, how do you once we've realized that? Like, how do we overcome that? And what are you doing to kind of build that foundation back up?
Yes, I think for me, there's a few different things that I've been doing. Two of the most important, one was being in counseling, which is something I've already been doing prior to this season, but has been really formative, especially in the middle of this and feeling that level of discontent and unsettledness. And then just conversation with my wife, with close friends, with mentors who can help me process what I'm feeling and the places that maybe in my own life are causing that level of discontent to come up right now. So those two things, and then just reevaluating. I've really been asking myself the question of where was my life not in line with God's will or calling for me before all of this happened. So those three things have really just been very formative for me in the middle of this time. So, counseling, conversation, and this just about self-evaluation of my life for sure.
Man, I love that word because it's so important that we have that community and fellowship, especially in a time like this, that we be intentional about that. So thanks for sharing. We appreciate
Yeah.
you having on. It's good to see you as always, and thanks for sharing. You're being vulnerable and sharing kind of what you're going through in your process, because I think there's so much we can learn from that, from being self-reflective to having those conversations and really diving in. So thanks for joining us, guys. We hope that you will take some encouragement from what Jagger has to say and apply it to your life, that the Lord can continue to grow each and every one of us in this time. Thanks so much, and we'll go back to the show now. That idea of discontent, I think, is huge right now. There are so many emotions that we've been exploring lately. And for many of us, we don't have any more standards to judge success, or we're realizing that the standards that we used to judge success before this hit were flawed in a way, or our routines were flawed. And so I'm so grateful to hear from Jagger being vulnerable about what it's like to have these deep conversations with family, with friends, and with a counselor about processing through that. And I think that's something we can really lean into as a church. So if you don't have those people, reach out, build those connections so that you can really dive into what you're feeling and what you're experiencing at this time, so that God can redeem it and use it to grow you. Now, as we've been going through each and every week, we've been trying to stay active. Ashley and I have. And so we have a very special something for you guys, and it is a husband and wife workout challenge. Yeah, so you want to see how good I do at this stuff? Just take a look here and don't laugh too hard at all the fails that are coming your way.
What's up, guys? It's Ross and Ashley here. Are you filming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Ross and Ashley out here. We are here for redemption after our complete fail with the Easter bunny cake. So we're gonna show you a couple things that we have picked up on the internet of couples workout challenges that you can do at home with a friend, a sibling, significant other. Try it, see if you can do it better than we can, and we want to see your pictures or videos in the comments below.
Here we go now.
Now it's gonna kill us when it hits me. Come on! Ah. I'm outperforming my fit wife! Come on!
Here we go now.
Hurry up!
No.
Come on!
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now.
Like this! Hey, okay, you're standing up. 3, 2,
Here we go now. Here we go now.
Do we get a nap after this?
You know, that was actually a lot of fun to try. And if you haven't tried workouts with your spouse or with a friend, go out and try it. You know, even if you make a fool of yourself like I do consistently, it's still fun to try, and it can lighten the mood. It keeps you active and it keeps you engaged. So go out and try it and let us know how it goes. As always, be sure to submit what you're doing through the description, the link in the description, because we want to see what you guys are doing. We want this, like I said before, to be a community, and we can't do that unless we hear from you guys. So take a video of you and your family doing something fun this week and submit it to us so that we can show it next week, because we're launching our mega episodes next Wednesday at 8:30. So be on the lookout for those. And as always, keep those hands clean.